was actually one of the featured speakers at Optavia's national convention a few years ago. Really a phenomenal guy. He's got some great books out there. So if you're ever looking for something to read, Robin Sharma is good. And we are Dee and Larry Korchin. We're glad you guys are with us this Monday night. We like to come together. If you are a new coach joining us tonight, we like to come together on Monday nights as a team. We live all over the country, but fortunately through Zoom, we can all get together. And if you're not muted, if you can mute yourself, try to do what I can here. But glad you guys are here. And what we thought we would do over the next few weeks is go over Dan Bell, who is an integrated presidential director. He is the architect of our business plan and our compensation plan. Probably knows more than anybody, including Dr. A, about the best way to optimize an Optavia business. But he really designed this business to be simple and really wants it to be simple. And so a couple years ago, he did this, and then he just repackaged it for us and coming out and really helping us understand the basic fundamentals of this business and really wants to uncomplicate it. It's us as individuals that tend to complicate it and make it a little more challenging than it needs to be.
Awesome. Yeah. So Dan, again, Dan's done this numerous times, like Dee mentioned. He's very successful within Optavia. When you think of Dr. Anderson, it's Dr. Anderson and Dan. I always think of that. And, he's a very analytical individual. Some people, will really like his style. Others don't, just because he comes across analytical. That doesn't mean that he has a lot to say, and he has a lot of good stuff to say. So tonight, we just want to share some of what week one was about in his training and his fundamental skills. And I hope you guys all got a chance to go through it again, because again, it really is the second time around, I think, that we really digest a lot of what he's saying. And we could probably do it a second and a third time too, as a repeat to help us out. So tonight, we're just going to jump right in. And then after that, we'll have a time of sharing from one of our other coaches on the team as far as what's been impacting their business. And then we'll wrap it up and get over to Dr. A's call. So with that, you want to get started?
Yeah, if we have time at the end, we would like to do question and answer, but what would be best for us, you guys, is if we go over something or something has already jumped out at you, if you would put the question in the chat, and then we'll review the chat, and then so we can hopefully get as many questions in. So any questions you have, go ahead and pop them in the chat at any time, and we'll address them towards the end. And we really want you to come to these meetings. There might be some weeks that you don't have a chance to watch the training beforehand, and that's okay. Whoever's facilitating, we hope to have some different facilitators. We'll go over the highlights, and you could always watch it on the backside, but we want you to come no matter what. And if you can come prepared, you'll just get a little bit more out of the individual sessions. So over the next few weeks, we'll be talking about the 6 fundamental skills, and Dan really breaks them down. But he takes quite a bit of time here at the beginning to talk about what really impacts your success with Optavia. And so we're going to talk about skills over the next few weeks. But what he talked about in this opening orientation is the importance of our own personal motivation for being a coach and our own mindset around it. And he talked about the 3 fundamentals of being successful or unsuccessful as an Optavia coach is our motivation, our mindset, and then our skill set. So if you watched it, and he does jokingly say we only retain about 10% of what we see or hear the first time around. But if you remember what he said of that equation, he said that skills are only what percent of the equation? Does anybody remember? You want to pop it in the chat? Somebody said 15, 10, yep. A third. 20%. It's actually, if I remember correctly, it was about 10% of the equation is the skills. So often we're hanging on, watching training after training after training, trying to get the words right, get the skill right. But really what he talked about was that the when our why is clear, the answers come easy. When our why is clear, our energy is totally different. And what we're saying doesn't matter so much as the delivery of it and the energy that we bring to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a simple guy. And, I think I've shared with you, I went to school at a small little college in upstate New York, and I'm really blessed and fortunate to be here. With that said, okay, I need to keep it simple. That's just me. So, I mean, one of the things that Dan shared early on in his presentation, he said, we have to keep it simple. This business is a simple business, all right? And a lot of times we get in our own way. And I so believe that, and I can see it. I can see when things aren't flowing, when I'm conversing with a client or a coach, it's exactly that. I'm getting in my own way as far as the communication, and listening is so much a part of that. So I love that part. One of the other things too is, again, especially for our new coaches on here, you do not need to know everything at this point. Okay? So I'll repeat that. It's critical. You do not need to know everything at this point. At this point, it's about reaching out and connecting with people and bringing people to the phone with your mentorship team so you can see how it's done. And trust me, within a couple meetings, you'll feel more and more comfortable, and you'll be like, okay, give me the keys. I got this. Okay. So that's one of the things that, again, we starting out, I mean, you guys know Dee. I mean, she would study everything, okay, to make sure. But I tell you, it's really about action. It's about getting into action and making that happen. The other thing that really that he quote, I want to quote him, it was a George Foreman quote, and he said, and I'll just do the first line. I won't do the whole quote. But don't try and reinvent the wheel. We've heard that a million times, but George Foreman shared that too. It's about leaning into that mentorship and let them guide you. Now, the neat thing about Optavia is that is the mantra throughout. Okay. We're not looking for something special. We're not looking for, I magically can make this happen. You don't have to do that. You just follow the path of the folks before you, and you will be successful in this business. And it's about consistency, and it's about time. Time and consistency will yield success in this business. So anyway, so motivation and skills.
Yeah, I mean,
Mindset.
yeah, we're not even going to go into skills yet tonight, because honestly, we could lay it all out for you. We could give you every skill in the book. But if we are, if we're hung up in our own head, like concerned whether or not we can do this, and thank you, Vicki, for that quote, like bumblebees don't know that they can't fly, but they do. Right. And so the only limit to anything that you can do in this business would be any limiting idea or belief that you have on yourself. And every single coach, Dan Bell, us, every person you see on leadership training, the most energetic speaker or not, we all ordered the same $199 coach kit. We all did. And then it was whether or not we were willing, based on what our own internal drive is and what we want from this. And that looks different for everybody. But it is so important, you guys, to get clear on why you're doing this and be okay with that. Optavia pays us very, very well. We have an incredible business model. They pay us very well for doing well. We're helping people change their lives in their physical health and in, whether in offering this business. So the how has no meaning without the why. Thank you, Beth, for that. And Larry's right. Whenever I've gotten stuck in this business, or whenever I'm coaching a coach through the business, most often it is not skills. We're not going through a laundry list of things for them to do. What we need to do is get back to the heart of why are we doing this and why is it important to you? Or maybe some idea is stuck in our head that is holding us back. And so we will talk at the end about an assignment around this. And I think it'd be a good time now to jump in. And Pat Daniel, do you want to share a little bit with us tonight? She knows she's talking tonight. Just kind of what your experience has been in terms of the motivation. And then most recently, kind of hit a little stumbling block that we worked through.
Yes. Thanks, Dee, for letting me share. This motivation and mindset is something that I guess all of us battle, but I think I I feel like I do maybe more than some. I always battle some insecurities. And when I first started coaching, I kind of always had the mindset that, well, I didn't know the possibilities first within OptiVia, and I just felt like, well, maybe I'll make some extra money to help me buy my food. But I didn't really see it much bigger than that. I didn't really think that I would be the one to, sure, some people are successful, but it wouldn't probably be me. It's just a select few. Kind of like, when you first saw the before afters, you thought, wow, they've got a few people that really did it, before you realize, no, it's really possible. You can all really do it if you try, So anyway, when I started coaching, and Mark lost his job about the same time. And so we had an immediate why to try to make it work. And I got a senior coach fairly quickly, and then went to convention. And I think that's the first place that my mindset changed, because I saw not only the heart of the leaders of OptiVia, but I was really struck by all the testimonies of, for those of you who haven't been to convention, between all the different sessions, they'll have people that have reached where Dee and Larry have now reached. I think you have to be there, 3 months before you get to come out there on stage. But anyway, people that have reached that level come out, and they give a testimony of kind of what they've gone through and how they made it. And it was just so cool to see all different kinds of people from all stages of life, men, women, couples, older, younger, and just really see them, that they just had a heart for people, and it just, they made it happen. And so it really kind of gave me a vision and a mindset that, maybe more is possible. And so there I made a decision to try to make ED and hopefully make the cruise. And I made ED the very next month, where I thought it was going to take, a long time. And then the next big thing that we had to kind of make a decision for was to make FIBIC. And that was again at an event that Lisa Bloom and I kind of made a mutual decision, and decided to help each other and challenge each other. And we both made that goal when we had planned on it. So the making a decision really does make a big difference. But what Dee was talking about most recently was just with this whole COVID thing. It was just hard for me to, well, one, I had been really actively getting in shape. I was going to be in run the Spartan race with my family, and had a trip I was going on, and all kind of stuff going on. And then, like everybody, it was just like, the air came out of my sails. I lost kind of my enthusiasm. And also I just didn't really feel comfortable sharing with people about a program to spend money on, when everybody was suffering and struggling, and jobs were, nobody had jobs, but when I talked to Dee, she asked me, why did you originally start coaching? And, I think I've just been thinking about it helps us financially a lot. And so I've had that why in my mindset, but that felt selfish, and so I had to kind of put that one away for a little while and think about why did I really start coaching? And it wasn't for the money. I didn't really think that was going to be very much. It was because OptiVia had changed my life. I had lost 55 pounds. Mark had lost 50. My daughter was losing. My sister lost. And it was just, I knew that it was something that I'd tried a million things, and it worked. And so it was a gift. So it was a mindset shift to get everything off of me, get my mind off of me, and think about them. And what does the world need right now more than better health, better finances, and better mindset? I mean, what we have is truly a gift to give others. And so, when I made that mind shift, it has helped a lot. And also I think it's like every single day. I think it's so important, especially now with all this craziness that's going on, to have a morning routine and wake up and, pray and have some just meditation time, or however you know, get settled in for the day. Some affirmation, think about what you have to offer yourself and and this gift, and take some time for visualization, you know, where you want to go and what you're hoping to achieve and what you want to accomplish even just that day, and how you're going to do it. And then have some time for self-growth, read, you know, and try to help your mindset that way. And then plan out, you know, what you want to get accomplished that day, and get started. So I think it's, you know, it's just every day resetting that mindset, and also it did, taking care of yourself, and, you know, making sure that you're staying healthy. It also, some coaches and like 5 of us got together a few weeks ago and kind of decided to re-hit fat burn, just to get clarity and get back motivated with what this program how it can make you feel. And so if you haven't done that in a while, I recommend that too. So anyway, that's it.
That was great, Pat. It really was a beautiful thing to walk through that with Pat, because, you know, we get ideas in our head, and our minds are brilliant, you know, and our thoughts can work for us and they can work against us. And so it was just some activity that was happening. But when we really talked it through and we got to the heart of, what does she want? What does she want for other people? Why was she doing this? I mean, it was just a beautiful experience. And then just to see the shift in her and her energy, and what she started attracting then was truly the people that needed help. And what a great reminder. Larry had brought this up last week about staying in integrity with our own health. When we're out of what's that line, when your waistline's shrinking, your business is growing, and vice versa. And sometimes we get a little out of whack. And that is an example of a mindset issue that we start to feel, you know, out of integrity, and it gets harder to be bold and all of that. So that was I'm glad you brought that in as well.
Yeah. And, you know, Pat, I'm so glad you talked about resetting, you know, and that's kind of what Dee was just sharing too. You know, I don't know how to be as perfectly clear as possible. You will have bad days, okay? We all do, all right? It's just a matter of, again, recognizing, okay, it's a bad day, all right? What do I want to do about it? And again, we always talk about the obstacles away, right? And pushing through. That's what we need to do, okay? And pushing through is, you know, taking those times to reset, whatever that may be. Pat gave some great examples, right? It's calling your mentor. It's calling your coach and say, listen, I'm having a bad day. Can you help me out here? And adjusting, and recognize for what it is. It's a bad day, and we all have them, and we're all going to come across them. And so, and that's okay. And that's the key thing. I want, you know, everybody to say, I'm going to have a bad day. All right, because that's just the way life is. We have that. So great stuff, Pat. Thank you again for sharing. Let me just share a couple other quick things that I thought Dan had brought up. If you didn't hear it, I just want to share it with you. Beth had put in the chat a couple minutes ago, is when you know your why, you'll figure out the how. Again, great quote and great wisdom coming from Dan. Reasons come first, answers second. All right. I think, again, that's important. A lot of times we miss that, right? Reasons come first, answers come second. We can figure it out. And especially as a team of Optavians working together, you know, you heard Pat partnering with Lisa and others as far as holding themselves accountable. That's another way, right, that we can come up with our solutions. And when the dream is big enough, facts don't count. Okay. When your dream is big enough. So again, one of the things to take away for tonight is analyze your why. You know, look at it, look at your dream. And it's okay that your dream may not be exactly where you want it. That's okay. Again, feel comfortable, be okay in that uncomfortable space, and recognize that it's a work in progress. We're a work in progress towards that dream. You guys are doing fantastic. A couple other things to share. Dan mentioned this, and we've seen this so many times, you know, being in the business now 9 years, 30 to 90 days it takes to hit ED once you decide you're going for it. Okay? 30 to 90 days to hit ED once you decide you're going for it. Okay? So that's about getting in action. That's about making sure that you're connected to your mentorship team. That's about when things don't work out your way, you pivot, okay, and work again with your mentorship team to pivot in the right direction. So I love that. And again, you can tear it up. And just one other side note, we have been tearing it up, okay? As a team overall, our numbers were fantastic in April and May. And we had our the company discount going through, which was fantastic. However, I want you to know, we still have a great discount right now, okay? If you haven't checked the grocery stores yet, okay, and look at the news, grocery prices are up on average 2.5% to 3%. Certain products are higher than that, you know, like meats and everything are up about 4%. Other things are lower, but almost 3%. So when you look at Optavia and our normal price, $414 it hasn't changed, right? The last 2 months, okay, that was a special discount, but we're still, okay, a better deal than what's going on right now. So again, remember that. I mean, I think I've talked to a couple of folks and they kind of like, well, we don't have the discount, we may be hiding behind that. No, the opportunity is ripe right now. Our numbers haven't changed. Our standard pricing hasn't changed. So that's another great thing to remember. And the fundamentals about duplication. I'm sorry, I'm stealing this, D. I'm fired up here. But you got to get started properly, share Optavia with others, follow up to determine the interest, and again, get new people started properly. And again, repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So.
Yeah, kind of like we say with our clients at the 5-in-1. A lot of my clients will make jokes because I'll just say, okay, well, here we go, rinse and repeat, right? Like, just keep going with what's working. But yeah, I think so clear. And Pat, you validated that with that clarity of when you decided you were going to go ED, clarity, that goal was clear. The how didn't really matter. Your brain starts to see it as done and starts helping you with those inspired ideas on how to accomplish something. So that is, Beth Bilton, you mentioned in the comments that your life started to change, your business started to change when you wrote your goals down. And I've talked to other top leaders in the company, and universally, the feeling is pretty much that it wasn't like so many people came on board because we had a discount last month. We all got in a lot more action than many of us had been in very many months. It gave us a reason to call. We just made those follow-ups. We might have had personal goals on how many people we wanted, and we lit a fire under ourselves, and then therefore that energy radiated out. So
Absolutely.
we can absolutely continue that momentum now, and you know, lots of people are signing up. So Dan should talk about it. If you are new to Optavia, the path is generally that we want to go senior coach as quickly as possible as a new coach. He said, then next thing is, it doesn't mean 30 days, you know, go in 30 days. He just said, as soon as possible, we want to go senior coach with 5 clients. And then executive director, he said, doesn't matter how you do it, blended path or frontline volume, just keep going with that momentum. And then fully integrated business coach, we're sponsoring at that point, and then business leaders, and really just breaking that down. But again, that clarity on why you're doing this is more important. Like sometimes people will say, oh, I just want to be global director. And I was that person for a while, but yet I had a lot of opposing thoughts and energy because I didn't really know what that meant or what that was going to translate into our lives. And when we can start to translate it and put it into tangible about what it does for your family, it could be a car payment. It could be your mortgage. It could be a home renovation. It could be a second home. It could be a vacation, an experience, whatever it is important to define it and be okay with that, you guys. Allow yourselves to be okay with earning income for doing good and putting it to good in your life. That is what Optavia is designed for us to create the lives that we want, all in by doing good and helping other people do the same exact thing.
Absolutely. So can I wrap up the action steps from
Yeah.
our friend Dan? So again, I mentioned earlier, fine tune your why. Okay, and that's almost ongoing. So you know, as you get an idea, you can fine tune your why. You know, 2 months from now, fine tune your why.
Dream board.
Dream boards, exactly. Fine tune your why. My dream board's these dream boards, so I'm good. But no, it's important to continue to refine it because things do change. You know, we have families, we have children, we have things we want to do. So again, always revisit your why. And then the last thing. He asked the question, and this is a good question to leave us with tonight. So what would your goal be if you couldn't fail? What would your goal be if you couldn't fail? All right. And again, that goes back to that dreaming, but what would you really put out there? All right. And that's really, you know, something that when you think about it, just identify whether or not you're limiting your belief. Okay. Just when you're dreaming about that or setting that goal, identify, am I limiting myself with that goal? What am I doing? Okay. And so dream big, because again, I 9 years ago, I would have never dreamt where we are in the business today. I would never dream that we have, you know, hundreds of coaches on our team. Okay. I would never dream of the people and the impact we're making and the friends and the family we have here on our team. So again, it was great training. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got a chance to listen to it. And again, Dan has some really good wisdom and good things there. So
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
It was important just to spend the time on this. And like Larry said, I think important to spend time on your goals and give yourself permission. It's okay for your goals to change over time. I seriously, 9 years ago, entered this and thought life would be grand if I made $1,000 a month. You know, and that was where I was. That's where my mind was. And then when that happened, then it was the next goal and then the next goal. And quite frankly, no matter how high you set your goal in Optavia, it's going to be the incremental steps that get you there. So, so thank you guys for being on. Next week, we're going to do the session 2, and I'm going to go ahead and post that link tomorrow for that. And then we get to roll over now for Dr. A, the group coaching, and Dan Bell.
And one last thing, there's a lot going on in the world. We just want you to know we love you guys, and we pray each and every day for a better world and for all of us to get along. And again, but remember, this team is a family. And again, if you guys are struggling at all, by all means, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. All right. So have a great week, and Dr. Ray, and take care.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys.
Love you guys.
Love
Bye.
you.